First one timed out perfectly. Not so lucky here with this one, but alright, one sec. We'll just swap these around. There we go. Ready to rock and roll. Nope. Had it right the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Dreamhack Winter. This is still the first series of the day. I'm Rifkin, casting today with Zeph, but spawning here in the upper left corner of Akalon Waste, down one in this series, it is the barcode player, best known as Mouse Sports Lucifron.
And once again, his opponent from the team that is Quantic, it is none other than Hyun.
Snagging up that red, representing quite well, I might say. But that game, I gotta say, game one got turned around so quick. Lucifron was doing so well with the pressure, and it's just one of those things where you go like, how did I lose control of this game? I mean, it's not like he played anything too risky, he didn't overplay his hands. Hyun was just, that control in those mutilus def, I still can't get over it, and we're already in game two.
Yeah, he controlled the game really well. I mean, we were talking about how well Lucifron controlled his banshees. It's the same deal for Hyun, constantly going in and out of that third base location whenever he tried to push. So that really put a bit of a hole in Lucifron's game plan. But I think if he can bring it back, it's certainly going to be on a map like Akalon Waste. Because when I think of Lucifron, I think of drop play. He's just so good and persistent with his drops. And this is one of those maps where you can really abuse that.
Well, fingers are crossed that he can pull it off or at least get to that point. Let's not forget, guys, Hyun is really well known at the moment for doing roach bailing styles in TVZ, and man, is that not easy to pull off in the early game. You have to see it coming from a mile away. And if he puts down the third hatch to do it as well, oh my god, that's just so much more production.
Yeah. And you know what? I gotta say, Hyun is actually kind of a weird opponent to come up against, because sure, he'll play Mutiling Bane, sure, he'll play Roach Bane, like you mentioned, but he'll also play Roach Hydra, which is something I think he did in Home Story Cup recently, so I wonder if Lucifron's kind of got any plans for Hyun in that regards, trying to abuse some of his silly plays if he does come up against that. But of course, so far, we're just looking at a pretty normal game.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the points too, though, like, where Hyun, I don't know, like, he's a strong opponent. You know how he's going to play, though, right? Like, he's not exactly the most unpredictable guy. He's not your, Nurchio or your Bly who'll quickly go super aggressive for no reason whatsoever and catch you completely off guard with it. I mean, he's completely capable of doing that, don't get me wrong, but it's not his playstyle. I mean, when I think Hyun, the first thing I think of is, like, 60+ banelings, right? Roaches. Like, I don't think of Mutalisk coming out really quick, as we saw in game number one, and maybe that's part of why Lucifron struggled so much.
Yeah, things just didn't really go his way.
But that's the nice thing about Dreamhack, of course. These are group stages. You got a lot of chances to come back. Maybe you lose this first series, but ooh.
Very nice pickup there.
Absolutely. An Overlord in the early game, always worthwhile.
Yeah, I love seeing players be brave enough with their first few units to head out across the map and try and find those overlords, because they already know where they're going to go. And wow, like Hyun is actually going to head across the map with these 4 Lings.
They actually should.
2 Marines too.
They should be able to shut down this if they pick up these 2 Marines initially. Okay, here comes 3. Never mind, sorry. I was going to say, if it was just 1 more Marine versus 3 Zerglings, you could pick off the SV building the command center, but of course, as we know, that's not going to be the case. That reactor, so good, so strong. Triple barracks behind this too, so I mean, Lucifron's going to have production, which is what he needs. Whether it's roaches and banelings or just roaches, one way or another, you need units, you need boots on the ground, so to speak, to borrow a phrase, and he's certainly going to have that much going for him. But as we see, the Roach Horn is coming out for Hyun. We're not seeing that typical third base that he normally attaches to this, but of course that comes down in about a minute, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, as well as the gas timings. I really don't feel like he's going to try and bust this, though.
Yeah, I don't know. He might make a few for pressure just at the front, because in the early game,
so he his first
they do tend to, you only have Marines to defending as. Sure, he has a bunker, but you're wondering how much the Terran is actually cutting corners at this point.
And that's actually the best point I was going to bring up. This might actually be worth dedicating into, because we see Lucifron actually does not have that wall up right now. He's going to rush and try and get this down, but roaches will be at his doorstep sooner than later. And of course, if there's no wall, if they can walk around, they get the surrounds, they get the concaves, they get towards that natural main ramp area. I mean, this one bunker, yes, it can technically be repaired forever, but the SCVs will go down behind it. And that's the economic damage you want to get done. Hyun's even sneaking around the SCV, did not see those roaches move out.
Man.
Oh, he's going to have...
so rough.
You know, moments ago I said I don't see him going for a bust, and I was referring to banelings, but I was completely wrong when I said no bust, because these are going to be roaches at his doorstep. 2 Hellions coming out, but as we know, Hellions are no good. More Hellions coming up behind this, and while he did get those 3 racks down, there's not enough bunkers, but more importantly, there's not that full wall off.
Yeah, and now he's finally seen the roaches come across the map. No Marauders out on the field. Here come the roaches right to the front doorstep. Luckily, with those extra barracks, he's going to have a fair few Marines.
Yeah.
And this really shouldn't be able to do too much at all. An excellent choice by Lucifron to switch it up and go for those extra racks instead of this 3rd CC. Now, these roaches could be really annoying, contain him in there, but I don't think he at all really wants to just march up there straight away, because he's going to lose a lot of roaches in the process if he commits to that.
Yeah, worth noting, there's actually not quite a full wall up there on that supply depot, a bit awkward, but Hyun's got so many roaches. I mean, this is what I was talking about, right? Like, you don't need Stim, you don't need the medevacs, you just need units available to you, because let's assume this was 1 racks with, like, all of this production behind it. Now the extra bunkers are coming down, there's no way Hyun pushes into this.
Yeah, Lucifron's playing really, really blind, okay? So, because, I mean, he's seen the roaches now, of course, but he can't really leave his base until he gets some form of medevacs so that he can actually float past them, of course. I mean, even the SCV scout that he initially sent to try and spot this kind of roach push coming got taken out at the ramp by the Queens. So in terms of tech and what have you, doesn't have the greatest idea of what Hyun's actually up to, but with that many roaches coming out, you could probably safely assume that, you know, he doesn't have that 3rd up just yet. He needs to drone back up. His upgrades are going to be later and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, what was really cool too, I'm sure some of you guys are like, well, why did he make these roaches? It just doesn't seem worthwhile. Well, that's 2 holes in the wall, by the way. I just want to point that out. These are like the worst supply depots of Lucifron's life. But
oh, dear.
What I was going to comment on is those 2 links getting here so early. They saw that the bunker wasn't down right when they got here, and they saw that the wall wasn't up. I mean, his reaction to make the roaches was not a bad one, but unfortunately for him, it was held off. Now, with banelings coming out, this may change entirely. Of course, the roaches, you know, typically you'll send some lings in to soak the initial hits for the banelings to get through and connect to the bio. The roaches will serve that same goal. No, the roaches are not going to be very good against the Marines, especially when Stim finishes up, but they will crush the Hellions, allowing the banelings to actually move forward.
Yeah, for sure. Lair finishing up now too, so we can grab that Baneling speed upgrade as soon as that Baneling nest is finished. Pumping out a few links too, and that's going to serve him very, very well for this push. He's seen it come along, he's got the Overlord in position over that cliff.
This is so much coming, and there's medevac's behind this too. I mean, he's going to need banelings right now, but 10 are only just finishing up. High ground vision's not going to play into his favor. Lucifron with such an aggressive push this game. Oh man, Hyun is going to lose this 3rd if he's not careful.
Well, I mean, those banelings are finishing up. He might still be able to save it. He's got the drones hidden. Will he be able to do it, though? Those banelings
look at the focus fire from Lucifron, though. Realizes he can't get all of them. Picks up, drops on top of the natural. But, of course, now the lings are swarming in. And there's no upgrades for either player, so it's actually kind of an even play field. But as we know, Marines clumped up are so good behind Mineral Lines. The roaches are actually at the wrong location. Oh, no.
Great focus fire with the Queens on the medevacs, trying to get rid of those as soon as he can. He's actually kind of run out of ground units. He only has slow roaches right now, and that is the worst thing to be trying to use.
Oh, that Baneling connect! Oh, those Banelings! So good!
Wow, very nice job by Hyun.
So Hyun holds.
Last minute hit.
But man, that could have been so much worse. I mean, like, again, it was like an awkward reaction for Hyun, but as we saw, the big reason why he split the roaches, guys, was the same reason when, he sent all of his forces to the 3rd. We just saw Lucifron pick up and go to this ledge. If he had gone all the way around and back, same thing would have happened over. So, while it cost him some drones, that sort of reaction to split his forces is what kept him alive. But here comes the follow-up push from Lucifron. Again, quite scary. There's Widow Mines with this too, and those roaches are all pretty much dead. They've been softened up by that first wave, and there's even 2 medevac survivors, so more energy, more healing.
Yeah, absolutely. Those Widow Mines, well, they're going to add some tasty splash. Nice pre-spread on
he's
those, and he's heading in.
Picks up, though. Ooh. Nice Widow Mine hit.
Wow.
Loses 2 medevacs, though, to the splash damage. A little unfortunate, because one of them picked up most of those Marines. That was actually quite devastating. That went from good to bad in, like, less than 1 second flat.
Widow Mines are the best Zerg unit, we all know that by now, and he's still rallying across the map. He's taking a 3rd at the same time he's doing this, of course, a very late 3rd, all considered, but he's keeping up the pressure, which means Hyun stays off his back, and with these medevacs he can certainly start dropping a little bit too if this frontal assault is really not working out.
Yeah, and despite the fact that this has been going on, both players have actually been expanding while this was happening, so great control. I mean, this is, of course, the macro game is very important in TVZ, but it's so difficult when there's such a high-tense situation. More Banelings coming in, not the best initial connects, but those other ones certainly were. And he's still got the roaches to soak the widow mines if he needs to, but the Zerglings get the job done. Tries to unburrow the second one. Isn't going to be enough. There's only one Baneling here, though, so not a big threat.
Yeah, and it looks like Hyun is just finally starting to bully him off the map. However, the reinforcements are still constantly coming across the map. Third base now finished for Lucifron. Once that
so many
income
medevacs.
that reinforcement's going to be that much stronger.
Yeah, sorry, I was going to try my best not to cut you off there, but so many medevacs went down there too. To one queen, because they were all so low from the previous engagements. There's just... it's not working out for Lucifron. Like, quite frankly, guys, he's making the right moves. He's the aggressor, and he's playing this out so well, but luck is not in his favor.
Yeah, certainly not. Well, Hyun's done a pretty good job of keeping him off his back so far. 11 workers killed by Lucifron this game, actually, but there's still an 80 drone strong economy for Hyun, which is just fantastic, and that's really helping him out here. Getting those +2/+2, very close to finish, +1 for the air upgrades, as well as 12 mutas coming to the production tab.
Yeah, normally it'd be like, oh, 80 drones for 3 bases, that's ridiculous. But let's not forget, it's 4 bases. However, that number's going to get thinned out as another 2 drops come down. Lucifron is relentless, and unfortunately for Hyun, Lynx will not quite get it done. We see the pickup very nicely. Oh, without what am I on the Baneling, such good control.
Ooh.
Dropping off to the main. Now, unfortunately for Lucifron, however, Hyun's level 2 upgrades are about to finish up here. He's going to be on 2-2 while Lucifron's still naked. Okay, actually, the 1-1 from Lucifron is just finishing up at the right time, too. But either way, Hyun with a very stark upgrade advantage.
Yeah, with those late NG bays, he's going to be quite behind on the Zerg, and we've got another 6 meters coming out here, so finally the drops can start to get pushed back, and we also see Lucifron pulling back his reinforcements to regroup, because now that those meters are out, of course, they run the risk of getting picked off in piecemeal fashion. So, I mean, Lucifron is proving right now just how good he is with his drops. Those meters are going to be so careful.
No, he's got to pull them back. Okay, loses a couple, not that bad. But Zeph, I wish you got to remind me to go through this replay sometime and count exactly how many units have died within medevacs, because this has actually gotten kind of out of hand for Lucifron. It's enough to lose the medevac, but the Marines, typically you unload them and get 1 kill on your way out to death type thing, but lots of very uneven trades so far. Ooh, what am I?
This Widowmine spread now, there's not a lot of ground army, it's mostly mutas right now, so Hyun's going to have to be really careful with how he engages this. Another drop going off towards the third base, and muta getting taken out, getting a bit overzealous with those Marines, and this is a very nice position for Lucifron.
Loses no Marines. Again, his control this game is so good, but luck has been the one thing going against them.
Yeah, another medevac goes down. This is just not fair, really. The Widowmines they're broken, and he needs to upgrade or something.
100 Marines lost so far this game. Typically, you see that number so much heavier in the Zergling favor, but unfortunately for Lucifron, not been trading to the best, and he's got this giant Mutalisk flock that's so hard to deal with. I mean, yes, you could just, if you have one big clump of Marines, technically beat out the Mutalisk, but it's the Banelings, it's the Zerglings, you just can't A-move into them. And, you know, we see a lot of players, like one of his teammates actually, Hyun Rain, big props to him. We see him actually invest into a lot of Thors to go into an army like this. And it's actually something I'd love to see out of Lucifron right now. Not just because it'd be cool against the Mutalisk, but they soak damage. It takes so many Banelings to kill a Thor.
Yeah, true. And here he comes into the third base now, starting to take out those missile turrets, and he's continuing to produce a few more mutas on top of this as well, but he's moving out again, and the ground army actually gets quite out of it. Some nice Widowmine hits could change it, although there's still a couple left that haven't been activated.
Hit. Finally, a good Widowmine hit this game.
Shambles, Rifkin. Oh no, it might actually go down. I don't think he has enough.
He's repairing it. He's repairing it. He's got it. Panic mode averted. Now pressuring the third at the same time. All these Marines are incredibly low, and there's not enough medevacs to heal them, but that's okay. He's got the numbers on his side. Banelings do nothing. The Widowmines are good once again, and the Marines actually stim so close to death. Oh god, it takes nothing to kill these Marines.
Oh, no.
Third's cleaned up. Drop at the fourth, though, still doing a lot of damage. He's killed 29 drones so far.
I love that he's being really persistent with his drops still, even though he's plummeted in supply. You know, he doesn't have that sort of big unit count. His rally across the map has finally been thwarted altogether, especially since his third almost got taken out. And it's looking rough for him, you know. How do you get out of this position? The Zerg is looking pretty good. He's restarting his creep spread in a second too. It's going to be an uphill battle from here, but I'm pretty confident he can still do it. He's going to continue sending these hit squads around the map.
Yeah, I mean, that army that was over here, consider if there's like 3 extra medevacs, guys. If those Marines were full health, it would have taken 2 Banelings to kill them instead of 1. But like a lot of cherry-picked Marines, like literally like 20+ Marines in the red, went down so quickly to just a small amount of Banelings. Mutalisk still being a persistent problem, though. I mean, the missile turrets are only doing so much. Without building armor, you can't really stand up to Mutalisk fire, but Marines on the other side of the map continue to pressure, always active, never sitting back, never turtling, and Hyun doesn't get to catch a break. Can you imagine if Hyun was able to just go uncontested and macro behind this? This is Lucifron putting a ton of pressure and still feeling the heat.
Oh, but the ground force actually gets taken out, but the Links and Banes is just too much on the ground from Hyun, and the mutas come back too to pick off the medevacs. Even if they boost, I doubt they'll get away from those mutas, and now this is actually really scary for us. He can go and counterattack with this, and I don't think that Lucifron's going to have an answer.
No, there's no bunkers, there's no turrets, and the Changelings have revealed this too. Coming to the front of the base, one of us going to burrow, kind of out of desperation, but here's Hyun, guys, 33 Banelings on the way. If he doesn't clean up with this initial army, the second attack will be devastating. We see corpses flying everywhere, Changelings coming down. He could actually probably hold position on the ramp to add a lot to this.
And that is it. GG.
GG. So,
wow.
all right, 2-0 for Hyun. Good way to start this off.